In this sit down, I stand on all views, statements, and insight provided. If I can't stand on it, I will not speak on it. Let's get into it.
Sit down, you gotta stand on it. If it's for certain, let's have around, you gotta stand on it. Open the curtain, it's going down, you gotta stand on it. Cause I put my stamp on it, so you gotta stand. You gotta stand on it. 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 You gotta stand.
Ladies and gentlemen, men and women, welcome to the Stand On It podcast. I am your host, Truth. Man of many hats, but ain't none of them cap. Don't let that go over your soul in. But hey, we're getting this back started off. Brand new first episode for the new podcast, Stand On It. In this podcast, we gonna be talking about everything that you feel like you can stand on. If you can't stand on it, there's no need for you to speak on it at all. Y'all too kind. Hold your applause to the end. It's like a graduation. But anyway, so a little bit about this podcast. Reason why I started this podcast, I feel like podcasting has become like the new rapping. All right, so everybody putting out a mixtape. Everybody podcasting. Everybody just regurgitating the same information. There's limited creativity when it comes to the content. And I think there's a lot going on that we need to talk about just besides the latest celebrity gossip. What's going on social media. If you want to know what's going on at the social scene, go on social media. You know, I don't need to come to your podcast and hear you talk about everything. I can just go online and read. You know, but there's a lane for that as well because it's entertainment. So people like to be entertained, but everybody don't need to be entertaining people the same way. So this podcast is for those who actually want to get some content that's taken away, that you can gain something from, and that, you know, you can use it in your life and reflect on something different. So a few podcast rules on this podcast. You're willing, if you want to, I'm willing to have you come have a sit down with me. As I stated at the beginning, anytime you have a sit down, you got to be willing to stand on whatever you're talking about. First and foremost. Second of all, on this podcast, our drinks of choice, we have wine, we have tea, we have coffee, and we have water. There will be no liquor or beer on this podcast. Liquor or beer has a tendency to arise emotions that we don't really need on this type of platform. You know, we want to talk on some stuff that's have your mind thinking and have you in tune with what's going on. So you'll see us doing that. Also, you'll see just all kind of different ambience, whether it's shoes out. I'm sitting here, I'm just relaxed. I got my kicks off, and I'm going to have guests who's going to be related to every topic that I'm talking about. For the most part, we're going to stick to one topic the entire episode. And then I want you to really think on it. I want you to interact with me, engage. If you need to give me some feedback on the content, just let me know. But we're going to really enjoy this thing, and we're going to talk some real talk. So I'm going to get into it. We're going to start off with a segment called Unpopular Facts. All right? So most of y'all have heard of unpopular opinions, but opinions are just that. You know, it's an opinion. It's what you think. On this podcast, I may relay a lot of opinions at times, but most of all, I'm going to deal with facts the majority of the time. So I want to get into something factual. Also, another disclaimer about the podcast. I will keep profanity to a minimum. However, there will be times when I will get passionate and I will let some profanity fly. If you are offended by that, there's the disclaimer out there. You may want to tune out during those parts. I'm not going to edit it out, but I won't get too graphic on the profanity front because I'm trying to touch many platforms and many outlets. So the cleaner, the better. All right, so with that being said, let's get into this week's unpopular facts. So this came up. My girl had kind of kicked this topic around on their podcast. Shout out Real Fantasy Podcast. Shout them out. But anyway, so it came down to DJs. All right. And if you know me, you know I have a very close friend that I even look at as a brother, who's a DJ. But the topic comes up, do I feel like DJs are needed for musicians to blow? So before I even get into that, I'm going to read you a few names here. All right. These are all artists from South Carolina that may be known mainstream to many of you. Peabo Bryson, Hootie and the Blowfish, Lil Rue, Angie Stone, Black Zack, Collard Green. So let me ask you this. If you know any of these names, can you tell me what DJ they are affiliated with? And I'm going to pause. I want you to really think on this one. What DJ are these individuals? And I didn't even get into James Brown, Dizzy Gillespie, but I just want you to think about this. Peabo Bryson, Hootie and the Blowfish, Lil Rue, Angie Stone, Black Zack, Collard Green. These are people who are staples in South Carolina, who've been known, who've had hits, and who've brought attention to South Carolina. What DJs do you know that they're affiliated with? All right, so Peabo Bryson, I'll answer it for you. I don't know any DJ Peabo Bryson is affiliated with. I don't know any DJ Hootie and the Blowfish affiliated with. Lil Rue, I remember Lil Rue's movement back in the day. Lil Rue has a still big song to this day, Nasty Song. He was stamped by Charlamagne the God, who's also from South Carolina, and DJ Frosty, who's a well-known DJ from Columbia, South Carolina. Shout out DJ Frosty. Angie Stone, I don't know what DJ that she's affiliated with. Black Zack, affiliated with DJ Lil Keem, who is from the upstate in South Carolina, who was instrumental in getting Black Zack known. So shout out DJ Lil Keem, who's part of the Hood Rich out of Atlanta. So shout out DJ Lil Keem with that. So I say that to say the topic came up and it was said that if an artist wants to blow, and I've been to several DJ summits and record pools. Shout out Paul for having the Columbia record pool. He puts on a great event. Paul Davis, legend in South Carolina. Shout out Paul. But I completely disagree with that. And I'm going to tell you why. There is no need for any artist to pay a DJ to play your music. And I'm going to give you some logic. Everything that I'm going to be talking about on this podcast, especially during this segment, unpopular facts, I'm going to give you something to think about logically. All right, so let's say you had to have surgery. Let's say you need heart surgery. You're not just going to go and Google heart surgeons and go with the first one, right? You're going to check their credentials. You're going to read the reviews on them. You're going to make sure that these people are the top-notch best at heart surgery. Same thing, liken this to DJs. So DJs that are asking for payment to play artist music. I ask you one question. What artist that's affiliated with you that you play their music have you blown up from the upstate? Yeah, I'm pausing because I want y'all to think. What artist that's affiliated with you have you blown up from the upstate? You know, and these are the same DJs who are asking for payment to play. Anytime you paying money for something, you are expecting a service in return. And some may say, well, the service is I'm playing your music. Well, what's the return on the investment? Pausing again. Waiting. I want you to think about this. What is the return on investment? If you want artists to play all of this music, you're telling me that there's zero talent in the upstate? Or is it potentially that you lack the credentials to take the artist to where they need to go? Is that maybe it? So, artists, I say this. Since you got the internet, and this is all I'm going to say about this. And this is nothing to toot my own horn, but again, it's dealing in facts. I can show it. I'm an artist, right? I hadn't done music in a while, but I do music. And on my streams, I get played in Germany, the UK, France, all of these places. I would ask these DJs, hey, who can you connect me with in Germany, France, the UK, all of these places? Pausing again. I don't think the majority of you will be able to connect me with anyone there. I say that to say the internet puts me everywhere I want to be. In some places that I didn't think I could be. I have the internet. So artists, with the power of the internet, I ask again, why do you need to pay a DJ to play your song in a club that nobody's going to pay attention to or listen to after that? And if you say, well, I break records, or I've even heard, I don't want to play something that may take down the vibe of the club. Go look at the story, and again, this is facts. Go look at the story around Rick Ross's come up. Yeah, not the drug dealer Rick Ross, but the artist Rick Ross. His DJ played this song, Every Day I'm Hustling, back to back in the club. Ended up losing his job because they told him don't play that. When Rick Ross tried to get on, he was like, this is so hard, I'm gonna make y'all like this. DJs, Upstate, 864. Who's taking those kind of chances? Who's playing music and saying, I don't care what vibe y'all think that this is gonna bring down. I'm gonna create the vibe. Who's doing that? So again, I ask, what credentials do you have? What's your reasoning behind feeling like you need to ask artists to pay you to play their music? Is it because this is what you're hearing that everybody else does? Is it because you're also looking to come up off of these artists? What is it? You know, and again, this is nothing that I'm trying to create a firestorm on. This is nothing that I'm trying to have a beef with. I would really be interested to sit down and have some grown man conversation around this, because I've never understood that concept. You know, you want to pay to play a song that you're not even gonna play the whole song. You just go play a verse of it, probably, maybe the hook, if you kind of dig it. But again, what's your purpose? So all of this is factual information that I'm talking about. And again, like I said, me personally, I do not feel that it's necessary to pay a DJ. And do your research, as I've done my research. The people that are known for South Carolina music have not been put on by any of the DJs in the upstate with their handout. So now that we got that out of the way, we gonna hop into something else. This episode is gonna be around disability. Okay, so when we're talking disability, and what made me think about this, I got a family member, and you know, I was just catching up with him, like, hey man, what you been had going on? Man, I'm just trying to get my disability. And I was like, disability. But this same individual, every weekend, he's at the club, he's playing ball all the time, he's just hanging out, he's doing whatever he wants to do. So I didn't understand what the potential disability was. And then I started thinking back, like, I've heard a lot of other people say that too. Well, I can't wait till I get my disability. Or I'm trying to get disability. And I started thinking about it, like, I know people who really could be considered disabled be paid, and get a disability check that they choose not to. So I did some research. And again, this is factual information. Disability, if we look at disability, in the U.S., 48.9 million people are on disability. 48.9. 19.4% are non-institutionalized. And the most popular is mobility. So that's not including people in prisons or people in mental institutions. 19.4% are on disability related to mobility. Saying, oh, my back is bad. I'm not able to do this because I'm on disability. Some facts about disability. Less than 1% of people who get on disability return to work. They never go back to work. It's just, hey, I know I'm on disability. And an interesting fact that I found out is basically what they look at when you're saying you're going to be on disability, right? The average disability is about $15,000 a year. The average minimum wage, let me rephrase that. The average disability check is $13,000 a year. Average minimum wage, $15,000 a year. So there's a $2,000 gap. But people choose disability for the reason it comes with Medicaid. So when you're working minimum wage, you don't get the benefits that come along with that. So one person said that disability is basically saying that you're willing to be poor for the rest of your life. And I kind of thought about that, like, damn. I see why now some are on disability and they do little side jobs. However, some, or most, I should say, they don't even choose side jobs. They just take disability. And it was unfathomable to me to think that someone could say, my ceiling is going to be $13,000 a year, and I'm okay with that. I don't have to do anything. I don't want anything else for myself. That's fine. I'm cool. Now, granted, this is not for those who really need disability, because there are a lot of people who need disability. My brother, RIP to him, he needed disability. You know, my aunt, she needs disability. She suffers from epilepsy really bad, so she needs disability. There are those out there who need it. But I started thinking about when the pandemic hit and PPP loans hit, and then we started getting stimulus, and then you had now you're getting the child tax credit. Did it send the wrong message to where it accelerated laziness for the Americans? Did that accelerate laziness for us? And again, these are things that some people really need, but do a lot of people actually need it? And in the case of my cousin, and in the case of other people I've heard, I don't think they really need it, because I see how they operate their daily lives. Looking up some research, all right? There's a county in Alabama called Haley County. It has a population of about 15,000 people. Out of that 15,000 people, they have a 6% unemployment rate. Now, adding to that, 1 in 4 people on disability. So that's 25% of their people are on disability. So there was a judge there that said, hey, he was hearing disability cases. Guy came before him and he said, hey, just out of curiosity, what's your disability? The dude responded, I have high blood pressure. The judge said, hey, so do I. He said, what else is wrong with you? I'm also diabetic. The judge responded, so am I. So the judge couldn't figure out if I'm able to function. And again, high blood pressure, diabetes, these are things that are common in the black community. We know that. It runs prevalent in my family. I know a lot of people who is prevalent in their family as well. But they go to work every day, and I'm speaking, again, this is facts. I have family members who have diabetes. I have family members who have high blood pressure, and they're not disabled. But one thing that I found out that was really interesting about how disability works and how they determine whether to qualify you for it or not. So one of the questions they'll ask is, what's your education level? So you might say, what does education have to do with me being disabled? So what they look at is they'll say, okay, you have a high school diploma. They may qualify you for disability because they look at it and say, if this person has only a high school diploma and they have mobility issues, it's going to be hard for them to get an office job where they're sitting down. So let's go ahead and give them disability. Because most jobs that only require a high school diploma, they're manual labor, like plants, things like that. So that's one of their determining factors. Outside of that, they'll also say, okay, this person has a college degree. They probably can get a sit-down job. We're going to go ahead and say, nah, we think you can get work. We're not going to approve you. So I thought that was like really crazy when you're thinking about the logic, how all of this happened, what goes into it, the people who really need it versus the people who are trying to get it, and then the people who are trying to get it. Basically, if you analyze it and think about it, you're just simply saying, I'm cool with being poor for the rest of my life. Like, you have to have a bigger ceiling than that. Everybody like free money. I understand it. But don't take that money at the expense of being able to limit yourself or create a ceiling over yourself that you're not going to be able to achieve more, and you're potentially taking away a benefit from someone who really needs it. So, again, like I said, we speaking facts on here. So I brought somebody on. I'm going to have a live guest today, and I'm going to have a call-in guest. I gotta make a call out. But I want to give you a little background on this individual before I introduce him. So this individual started off as an artist affiliated with me. Then he became a friend. Then this individual became like a brother. Also, you'll hear this individual on the intro. Just killed the intro. Did a great job on that. But what a lot of people don't know, and what I didn't know when I initially met this great person, that they're legally blind. Right. They're legally blind. But they're one of the coldest artists that you go come across. They live their life. You wouldn't even be able to tell that they're legally blind by how they live their life. Every excuse to be disabled and to just sit back and not do anything. But I'm going to let him tell you a little bit more about why he chooses different. So without further ado, we go introduce to the people. Some know him as Vocals. He's repping his brand today, got on his shirt. He's going by Big Juice. So give it up for my man, Big Juice.
What's going on, man?
Yeah, man. How you feeling tonight, sir?
I feel amazing. Thank you for having me, man. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, man. I appreciate you being here. So you say you feel amazing. So let's hop right into it. Tell the people a little bit about what you do.
So me personally, you know, I write, I sing, of course, record, engineer, you know, the whole nine as far as like music is concerned. Other than that, you know, of course I work, you know what I'm saying? I gotta go work and stuff like that. And the other thing is, I just started getting back into acting, like plays and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. I just started that not too long ago. My first rehearsal was probably yesterday. Mm-hmm. So getting back into that too. So other than that, man, you know, I'm just trying to get it, trying to, you know, be somebody for my kids.
Okay. All right. So you say you work, you engineer, you record, you write music. So how are you doing all of this being visually impaired?
Honestly, the simplest way to say it, and you know, I've thought about this before, and the simplest way to say it is like, because I want to, because that's really what it boiled down to. Because I want to. My biggest pet peeve is when I tell somebody, "Yeah, I'm legally blind. I don't drive," and they say to me, well, how do you get around? What you mean? How do you get around? A car, but you can't drive. Yeah, but I can ride. You got Uber, you know what I'm saying? Like you keep good people around you, you know what I'm saying? Like things like that. So it's like, just me personally, I do what I got to do to get to where I want to be, because it's a certain kind of lifestyle I want to live. You feel me?
Right.
Like that's really what it is, honestly.
All right. And I will say again, we deal with facts on here. Everything he's saying, I can vouch for. Like he be out in the streets. Like he really like he be out more than me. And I
move a little
see
bit.
well, yeah, he be gone. Like I said, he cold on that music tip. So let's talk about your music. Well, before we get into your music, were you born with the disability? Were you born legally blind? So,
yes, I was born. I have an eye disease called retinitis pigmentosa. Basically, it's the generation of the retina. So, in layman's terms, it's like basically eventually I'll go blind. Like what they say is like it's like you looking at the world through a straw, and every so often like it just keeps getting smaller and keeps getting smaller until there's nothing left. The other piece of that is like I can't see in the dark, so night blindness comes with that too. So is no limited peripheral vision, and I can't see at night. I was diagnosed in 3rd grade. I think I had went to Atlanta or something like that, and they had like put me under this machine, and I got diagnosed with retinitis pigmentosa. It is hereditary. My grandpa has it. Praying that my children don't have it. But yeah, that's pretty much what it is. I was born with it. Don't have it forever. They take different steps throughout. They took different steps throughout like my school, like through education, to ensure that I would be self-sufficient once if it did happen. So I can read Braille a little bit. I know O&M, which is like mobility training, like getting around. So I know different things like that because I was taught those things. But by the grace of God, I ain't had to really use them, but I do know how to do those things just in case that happens. So that's kind of like the backstory on like my visual impairment.
Okay. So the question I had asked before that, what got you into music?
What got me into music, I honestly do not know. My earliest memory of music was I was in like 2nd grade. I don't know if people used to tell me I could sing or not, but I tried out for the talent show. And my mama can vouch for this story. They would not let her into the cafeteria when I was trying out for the talent show. I got up on the stage and I said, I believe I can fly. And I started crying bad, like crying like real bad. That's my earliest memory of me singing. 2nd grade. Now, after that, I got in I was like 3rd grade, and like my teacher was like, she pulled me out of class one day. She was pulling me out of class. She was like, come into the classroom with me, whatever. And she was like, sing this for me. I'm like, okay. She put me on advanced course right there in 3rd grade. Advanced course was 5th grade. that was advanced course. So at that point, that's when I'm like, oh, I guess I can sing. So after that, like I just became the guy who could sing at school. And then after that, like as far as like the whole writing, I was rapping before I was like singing because that was easier. Like poems, like when we was kids, it was easier to write music, do like poems and stuff. So I was rapping. Then when I started recording music myself, I started looking on YouTube to learn how to record myself. I was still rapping because I didn't know how to mix vocals. Meanwhile, I'm still singing, church, things like that. Right. I'm still the singer guy, but everybody just know I can sing. They're not really hearing me sing. They can't really just sit down and listen to me sing. So I get in school, college and stuff like that, and I'm like, I'm about to start. I want to sing. I need to be I need to sing like R&B. They need to hear me. Right. My brother, he went to the Art Institute of Atlanta before I went to school. So I was like, hey man, when you go up there, will you please learn how to mix vocals? Will you please learn how to mix vocals? He was like, yeah. So he went up there because he sang too. So he went up there, did that, and he gave me a couple little tricks and stuff like that, like things to do with my voice, to put it like on the engineer side, to learn how to mix vocals. So I learned how to mix vocals, and then that's where I am now. Just been working on like getting to that. I really started mixing vocals probably like 3 years ago.
That's dope, man. And shout out your brother, man, Shaq.
Word though.
Yeah,
for real.
He's legally blind as well. So let me ask you this. When you found out you had the disability, like how did you just overcome it? Like, I'm not gonna let this define me, or this not gonna stop anything I wanna do. Like, what was your thought process? As
a kid, you don't realize it. As a third grader, as third grade, second grade, elementary school, you don't think about it. You don't like, and even in middle school, you don't think about it, because like even the teachers pulling me out of class to like walk me with canes through the hallway, people used to see me and joke with me. They know like that's what I got to do, but it never hit me until I got in high school when people started driving. Oh, when people started driving, I even went and got my permit. Right. I went and got my permit. Like, they told me I couldn't drive, but I went to a different doctor. They told me I could, like, so I got my permit, and then I did all that, man. I was like, man, I'm about to drive, but nobody wanted to teach me how to drive. Like, man, you can't see, I'm not teaching you how to drive, but my parents, they taught me a little bit. But at some point, it was like, man, I was like, they ain't trying to teach me how to drive. So right. I even used to have girlfriends. I used to drive their cars around. You know what I'm saying? For real. On back roads, I drive my girls' cars on back roads, drive to the bank, to the McDonald's, stuff like that, just so I can get that experience. You know what I'm saying? Because I wanted to drive. So I'm in high school, and everybody going out at night. They all linking up and so like that. And that's why I think there's some people that in high school that I was cool with at school, but I never was really cool with outside of school. It's because I couldn't hang out with them outside of school. Right. You know what I'm saying? Nobody would come pick me up. Now, well, I had a couple friends who would. I had a couple friends who would come pick me up like that, but you know, they couldn't pick me up all the time.
Right. For the
no fault to them. They could pick me up all the time. Yeah. But I would be sitting at home. You know, so that's when it really hit me. I got over that. It didn't hit me again until I got in college. And I started wanting to go to the club at night. I started wanting to go to the club, go out, hang out, and I'm out here like, man, I can't see nothing. I got to hold on somebody's shoulder. I could be completely drunk. You know what I'm saying? Hold on somebody's shoulder, and then I would realize, like, dang, man, I can't see in here. And I would sober up, and I would not even want to be around nobody. I'd just be ready to go home, because, like, all this stuff going on around me, and I can't see none of it. I can't see nothing. You know what I'm saying? So eventually, like, so at first it did, it was like irrelevant. Then at some point I start noticing, even to this day, I still notice it sometimes, but I try to keep myself in a good mood, and I give other people my energy so that I kind of turn them up, so I kind of don't get turned down, if that makes sense.
It makes absolute sense.
So now I just feel my way around places. You know what I'm saying? Like, if I say I'll go into the club and it's dark, I can't see, and I start walking, I walk slow, I feel somebody. And the thing is, I'm not no little dude, so it's like I can, you know, feel my way. So if I feel somebody back right here, now I keep walking a little bit, I feel somebody else back over here, I'm like, oh, I can walk through here. This somebody back right here, somebody back right here. That mean ain't nobody right here. So I just walk through, and it kind of became instinct. So now that's why I be moving around so much now, because it's just like, it's instinctual to walk around in the dark. It sounds crazy, but it's the truth.
Nah, hey, listen, I laugh because, again, it's facts. I've been out with this man, and I forget for a moment that he's visually impaired, because he'll just wander off, or he'll just...
I'm good for that. I'm good for leaving.
Walking around, I'm like, dang, like, you know, so, yeah, everything he's speaking is factual. So let me ask you this. I know they say usually when you have a disability, there's another sense that's heightened. Like, do you have another sense that's heightened? Like, whether it's smell or anything like that, like, to kind of offset your vision disability?
I think that I can hear really well. I can hear really, really good. I think I can now. I've never really kind of fed into that stereotype. But if I have to be honest, I think that my ears are normal. I just think other people can't hear.
Right.
Because it'd be some stuff like I'll be sitting somewhere talking to somebody, something like that. Say we in the house, we order DoorDash, something like that. I'll be like, I think the DoorDash outside. Or like if a car pull up, who outside? Like, what you talking about? Man, somebody outside. And then, go, look, somebody done pulled up. Because I can hear him pull up. But I'm thinking like, you should have been able to hear that.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Or like you hear somebody put a bag down in front of your door.
Yeah.
You should be able, like, honestly, you should be able to hear that.
Yeah.
Like, so maybe my hearing is heightened.
Yeah.
But honestly, I think that just a normal person should be able to hear stuff. That's just being cognizant of your surroundings, like knowing where you at. You know what I'm saying? So that's pretty much that on that. Like, yeah.
I got 2 more questions for you. So, what would you say your style of music is? Cause before you answer that, like I said at the outset, this dude is cold, and I'm gonna have him tell you where to locate his music at, hear his music. But I don't vouch for a lot of people with music. You gotta really be talking about something different, and you gotta really capture my attention before I just say like, okay, yeah, he hard. This man is hard. Like his music is fire. So what would you say your style of music is?
Again, I don't know. I just like, I like all styles of music, and like, you probably didn't see me earlier when you was talking about, like, when you said somebody Dizzy Gillespie. I'm like, man, I know who that is. Like,
yeah.
Because like, I just listen to everything, jazz, country, you know what I'm saying, gospel, like everything. So it's like, my style of music, if I had to categorize myself, of course, I'm gonna just say R&B. But if I'm just being honest, I'll do whatever, like whatever the situation calls for. However I feel like I need to sound on the beat, pop songs, rock songs. I don't wrote 2 country songs already. I low key want to come out with a country album. And but if I had to generalize, I'd just say R&B. But for the most part, it's really everything, because like I feel like as a singer and as an artist, as a songwriter, you should be able to hop into every single lane. And I want to be able to become a chameleon. Like I want to be able to hop on anybody's song at any time of the day, any time of the hour, and get them like a crazy verse or hook or whatever.
And again, I could vouch for that. The first song I ever heard you do was that Dear Carolina. It was a cool song, but when I heard that song, it put me in the mind state of like, okay, like Anthony Hamilton, like positivity. When I heard the other music, I'm like, this completely different. The way you talk about these women and relationships. So yeah, you can jump into any kind of lane, and it takes a special kind of talent to do that. So and I've told you before, but I always believe in just giving people they just do. Like, man, you hard.
Appreciate it,
like,
man.
For real, like you hard. I'm a fan. I like your music a lot. So the last question I have for you, before I tell you where to tell the people to locate your music, if you had to encourage someone with a disability who's kind of torn between, okay, do I just want to put that ceiling on myself and say I'm okay with virtually being poor for the rest of my life, or I'm not gonna allow my disability to define me, how would you articulate that to them? What would you say?
So first and foremost, I'm gonna be completely honest with you. If not you, just whoever is listening. Like somebody, you know what I'm saying? You do what you want to do. You're an adult. If you getting this, you know what I'm saying? You do what you want to do. If you cool with that, by all means, go right ahead. But I will say this: there's more fulfillment, and you know what I'm saying, there's more admiration when you overcome those things. Like, not, and it sounds bad because it shouldn't be that, but it's like, oh man, you blind, you did that. But it's like, that's what you're supposed to do. You know what I'm saying? Like you ask your mama, okay, I wash the dishes, where my allowance? Or what better? I made straight A's. My friend got $5 for every A they made. Why I don't get $5 for every A I made? That's what you're supposed to do. These are things you're supposed to do. You're supposed to want better for yourself. You're supposed to want to be the best version of yourself that you can. And you cannot be the best version of yourself living on disability. You just can't.
Well,
because if that's okay with you, like I said, by all means, you're an adult. Do what you want to do. But you watch TV just like everybody else. You look at the internet just like everybody else. Them nice cars and people driving, you don't got to be able to drive it. But guess what? If I make enough money, I can buy one. Somebody can drive it for me. You know what I'm saying?
Hey.
Them nice clothes and people wearing, you can go buy them.
That's a jewel.
You know what I'm saying? So my thing is, do your thing, live your life, but at the same time, do your best to be the best version of yourself, because there's nothing that you. I know that people always say you could be anything you want to be. Yeah, you can within reason. But what I'm saying is, like, you can excel in anything you within reason. You can do a lot of things. And a disability should not stop you from reaching certain goals in your life. Like you shouldn't have to, unless you just can't. You really just can't. You can do whatever, man. Like knowledge is power. You can just read books all day. You can read books all day. You know what I'm saying? And learn a lot of different stuff. Or, you know, it's different ways to do things. But yeah, that's what I say, man. Do your thing and grow. Focus on yourself.
Man, that's very inspirational. And I know, like, that's go touch a lot of people. Seriously. And I appreciate you for sharing. And I appreciate, you know, your candidacy with that. Like, for real. So tell the people where they can go to find your music. Tell them anything you want to know, where they can follow you at. Tell them how to get in contact with you. Just talk to the people.
Man, listen. So it's Vocals, aka Big Juice. You feel me? Merch. Hit my head. Can't see. Y'all remember that? But merch is coming real soon. Probably here in the next month or so. We doing that. Juice season just dropped. Juice season just dropped. Streaming on all platforms. That's Juice SZSN. Vocals. Instagram Vocals_22. Twitter Vocals_22. Snapchat Vocals_22. Vocals_22 everywhere. So just, you know, rock with me. You know, if you rock with me, then you rock with me. If you don't, then, you know, keep living your life, man. You know, be free. But yeah, that's where you can find me at Vocals_22 everywhere. Orinthia Tompkins on Facebook. Hit me up, holla at me. Like I said, that merch coming real soon. So rock with me, man. You know. Yeah.
So let's give this man a round of applause, sir. We appreciate you for sharing again. Like I said, kick it with us for the rest of the show. What we gonna get into now? So I have a homeboy I'm about to call up. Me and this man grew up together. We was in them trenches together. We done been through a whole lot of stuff together. But we kind of lost contact for a few years. And he told me he was sick. So when I saw him and he came to see me, he was like staggering around, equilibrium all off. And I found out he has MS. And what MS is, it attacks your nervous system. And it can also attack and alter your vision. You can lose your vision. But this individual goes to concerts. He still works a full-time job. He's very smart. He attended Clemson University as well. Just an all-around great dude. This is one of the people, like, if you look at him, you would not know that he was involved in any kind of street stuff or any of the things he participated in some of the stuff with me with. He looks like a very clean-cut individual, which was great. I always admired that about him. He was always able to pull off that corporate side, and you couldn't really tell what he had going on. I was able to take a lot from him. But I say that to say, just the motivation that he has, the inspiration that he gives you for not allowing his disability of having MS. And when he was diagnosed with it, he could have easily got on disability. He refused. So I'm going to give my homeboy Ernest a call. And we're going to talk to him for a moment here. Let me pull him up here and get him on the line.
Hello.
Yo.
Hey, what up, man?
What's good with your famo?
Chilling, man.
Word, man.
Watching TV.
You say you watching TV? What you looking at good?
Just some Netflix, man. I was watching a special on the Italian soccer scandal where they had like matchsticks and stuff in like 2006.
Word. You ain't looking at no sports, man. Sports on tonight. We got the Braves playing. We got basketball.
I hate the Braves.
Don't do that, man. We gotta root for the closest thing to the home team, man.
No, we don't.
So, man, I'm hitting you up, man. First off, let me give you a round of applause again. I kind of gave you your flowers before I called you. I talked to people about how you're one of the most inspirational people I knew. How we grew up together and how you inspired me, because I would see, like, looking at you, you can't tell that you're this cool person who has street savvy. He knows what's going on. He listens to hip hop. That you can't tell that by looking at you. And that was always inspirational to me, how you conducted yourself. But I shared a little bit of your story about, you know, after years of not seeing you, how when I saw you again, how your diagnosis had kind of taken a toll on your health, like with your walking and you know, the things you have to do to go get treatment. So tell the people a little bit about what would be deemed as a disability, what your disability is.
Yeah, let's see. I have MS, so basically, MS really sucks because it affects everybody differently. Like I have issues where I have like numbness in my fingertips. And that makes it hard to type, which sucks since I work in computer programming. I also have issues with like spasticity in my legs that causes me to have problems with my walking and with my balance. All of this stuff, especially the leg stuff, is treatable with therapy and medication. We're just trying to figure out the right balances of everything right now, because I only got diagnosed 3 years ago, and a lot has changed in that time, because I was a lot more active when I first got diagnosed, and that was helping offset some of the symptoms, because maintaining a decent level of physical activity really helps a lot. So a lot of the work that I had done before that, you know, really kept me where I was at. But then when I had my last relapse in February 2018, which I didn't even know I was sick. I didn't even know I had the disease. I got the flu in February, and then all of a sudden my legs stopped working. And I was like really worried, but then things got better, but they didn't. I was still having problems with like running and walking. I went from training for a 10K to being unable to run half a mile because I couldn't pick up my foot. And then so I finally went to therapy, and then my ex-girlfriend, I was dating at the time, she actually had MS as well. And she was like, hey, maybe you should get an MRI and get checked for MS, because what's going on with you isn't normal. So I listened to her, got the MRI, got the news that it wasn't clear. on like right after Labor Day, I think it was, Memorial Day, whichever one comes first. Right after Memorial Day, because we was at the beach. And we came home and I talked to my doctor. He scheduled another MRI. And then I got the news that I had MS on July 3rd. Yeah, that was a fun way to go into the 4th of July weekend.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So let me ask you this. Walk us through, like, what was your thought process hearing that diagnosis that you have MS? Like, what was your feelings in that moment? Like walk us through that.
My first thought was like, is my life over? I'm not going to be able to walk in 5 years. You know, am I going to die? You know, from this disease? Because at that time I didn't know which version of MS I had. Luckily, I have one of the intermittent ones. I have the least severe one. It's like, I forget what exactly it's called, but it's just I get like attacked and then I can get better, or it can stay where it's at, but the attack doesn't go on forever. There are types of MS where you just get worse, and there was no treatment until a few years ago at all to stop it. So I got lucky, quote unquote lucky in that way, that I didn't get like a primary progressive, which is the worst form of MS, which was what I was afraid of at first, because I went from not really having symptoms to struggle pretty quickly. And so I was freaked out.
Man, that's definitely understandable. So I think I know the answer to this, but I still want to ask, when you got that diagnosis, would you have been able to qualify for disability?
I probably can if I really wanted to. But that's not something that ever really crossed my mind.
Okay. So talk to us about that. Why are you not driven to try and sit back and collect on disability, but instead choose to work and still try and live with a quality of life?
Because I like money. I mean, when disability pays like what, $800 a month or something like that. I smoke that much weed a month.
Yeah, $13,000 a year plus Medicaid.
Yeah. It's no, that is I know. I have advanced past the point in my life where I could live like that.
Yeah.
And my job is one I can do with relative ease from home. You know, my company is they work with me. They're very, very patient. They're very forgiving for anything, because they think that, you know, I'm a really good, are willing to, you know, do whatever to hold on to me.
Okay. So I'm gonna ask you this last question, the same thing I asked my other guests. Like, if you had to talk to someone who's struggling with, they may not even be have an illness to your level, you know, what would you encourage them to do? What words of encouragement would you provide to them to help them keep going, so they didn't just kind of sit back and take on a stagnant quality of life?
I mean, you know, anything you're feeling is real. It is, it's legitimate. You know, a lot of times, you know, we're told to push through, we're told to fight through, and a lot of times that's something that we shouldn't do. So sometimes, you know, falling back, and even if you have that illness, you know, just sitting down and resting for a while, it's okay, and it's something that we all have to do. But after that, you know, you get back up and you start going again, and you try to make stuff better as long as you can, you know? At least that's my philosophy on everything.
Right. Well, hey, man, I ain't want to hold you too long, but hey, let me give you your flowers again. Round of applause. I definitely appreciate you sharing your thoughts, your insights. Like I said, you're definitely an inspiration to me, and I know those who listen to this episode, you're gonna be an inspiration to them. So keep pushing, man. You know I'm in your corner. You know I love you, bro, and I'll be in contact.
Hey, love you too, man. Y'all have a good one.
All right, man. Later.
Okay, bye.
Yeah, man. Shout out to my man Ernest, man. Like I said, that's one of my closest player partners, man, from back in the hometown. I seen this man go through a lot. He just lost his grandma too not long ago. R.I.P. to her as well. So as we get ready to close this out, I want to talk about this individual who goes by the name, her name is Christine Ha. So Christine Ha was diagnosed with the same disease my homeboy was diagnosed with, MS, in 2004. And again, those of you who don't know, MS is a immune system disease that attacks the optic nerves and spinal cord. So in 2007, she went completely blind. She compared her vision to looking through a foggy mirror after a shower. So some of her credentials are she's a chef, she's a writer, and a TV host. In 2012, Christine won Master Chef with Gordon Ramsay. Completely blind. 2012, she won Master Chef with Gordon Ramsay. So I want to leave y'all with some powerful words that she stated in regards to how she views what she goes through.
Losing my vision taught me to be more fearless in life. If you can't see how steep the mountain is, then you can't fear it. Everyone is very capable, much more capable than they think they are. Regardless of where you've come from, what challenges you've faced, what sort of a hand you're dealt with in life. You shouldn't be afraid to dream big. Your chances of attaining something, if you don't try, is 0%, so you might as well try. Greatest rewards come at the greatest risks.
Extremely, extremely powerful. Greatest rewards come with the greatest risk. And then if you can't see how tall the mountain is, you can't even fear it. So it kind of go back to what Juice was saying. Like, as a kid, he didn't even realize like what he was up against. Like, that wasn't even a thought process he had. So, hey, that's gonna bring our first episode to an end. I hope you all enjoyed the content. Shout out to my guest vocals. Shout out to my homeboy Ernest. I appreciate you, gentlemen. I know you were very inspirational to the people. You were inspirational to me. Thankfully, I don't have any disability as of yet. Anything is possible in life. But again, y'all are a great inspiration. Anything I can do to support you all, just let me know. Definitely willing to do that. And I want to leave y'all on this note, man. Energy is real, but everyone doesn't possess real energy. Watch and control your surroundings. That's what you got to do. Watch and control your surroundings so you can protect your energy. If you want to be a part of the show, if you got any content you want to submit, if you got any questions that you want to ask, email standonitpod@gmail.com. That's standonitpod@gmail.com. I'm not going to start a social media. I'm trying to do my best to get off social media, but I will respond to emails. standonitpod@gmail.com. So we're going to let the man who started the show end the show. We're going to let my man Big Juice carry us out. Intro, outro.
Sit down, you gotta stand on it. If it's for certain, let's have around, you gotta stand on it. Open the curtain, it's going down, you gotta stand on it. Cause I put my stamp on it, so you gotta stand. You gotta stand on it. 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 You gotta stand.